I still need to report the numbers as they are known.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thanks very much, and thanks for everything that you have been doing and your staff and all the other departments that have been helping your staff. I know it's been a very busy time, and I just want to once again mention our appreciation.
Thank you.
Thanks. We will now move on to item E, which will be our public hearings. We have 3 items for public hearing this evening, and I will ask the clerk to read out public hearing number 1, which is item 4 on the agenda.
Conditional use permit for Mayo Revelations Medical Massage LLC, a proposed massage therapy use at 8831 West Greenfield Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Scher?
Thank you, Mayor. The proposed massage use at 88th and Greenfield Avenue would occupy roughly about just under 1,000 square feet within a multi-tenant commercial building on the south side of Greenfield Avenue. The property is zoned C2 commercial, and within that commercial district, certain uses are permitted, certain uses are conditional uses. And in this case, massage therapy is deemed as a conditional use, and as part of that process towards business occupancy, the applicant, or the business owner in this case, needs to come before the city's council to receive consideration of their use. The details of the proposed business are going to be considered this evening, and then the council makes a determination at public hearing or thereafter as to the fit for the neighborhood. The hours of operation are by appointment only, but the hours would be between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. to daytime hours. There are no site changes planned for this site. It consists primarily, the lot consists primarily of a building fronting Greenfield Avenue and 88th Street with a small, like 4-stall parking area behind the building. There isn't a refuse dumpster on the site currently. All of the garbage is managed internally and then taken out and disposed of, given the current office tenants and so on. The proposed massage therapy use isn't intended to be a heavy user of trash or impact sanitation, so there really aren't any changes to the site planned by the ownership or the business owner. So it is a single suite within the existing building, 1 to 2 massage rooms, massage room areas, a closet and office area for storage, and then also a reception area as you enter the tenant space. Just pictures of the building in the lower left. So the process to date has included a planning commission meeting. The planning commission has recommended approval subject to a few things: that the business shall operate within the state of Wisconsin as a licensed operation, maintain records of customer appointments, install cameras within the customer lobby area, and operate within daytime hours. If a refuse dumpster is needed on the site, it would need to be screened from view within a 4-sided enclosure. So that was the Planning Commission's recommendation to the Common Council. But since that time, there has been public notice served to the properties within 200 feet, as well as published in the official paper, and we've received no objections to date. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the council members on this item?
Mayor Devine.
Alderperson Keene.
Maybe I missed it. What were the hours of operation they were looking for?
8 a.m. to 8 p.m. is just sort of the
okay.
general wheelhouse. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council?
Mayor Devine.
Alderperson Grisham.
Steve, I have a question for you. You said it's a multi-tenant building. How many tenants are in that building? Are you aware?
I'm going off the sign that's here, but roughly about 4 or 5 tenant spaces within the building.
So there's 4 or 5 businesses in there with 4 parking spots in the lot only.
Yeah.
So where's the overflow? Obviously going to be street parking. Are there any restrictions on parking in this area for business, or will that fill up? And I know it's a broader question than a 1 to 2 room massage, but
Right.
that would just be my concern because I noticed the parking right away. I said, okay, how many?
Yeah, there is very minimal parking on the site itself. It's accessible, what they have, 3 to 4 spaces off of the alleyway. But other than that, it is street parking, and To my knowledge, there may be some restrictions along Greenfield Avenue. However, the side streets, at least within this, commercial frontage on either side, east and west sides of 88th Street, I don't notice any parking restrictions within that area, north
Okay.
or south, north of the alley.
And maybe this isn't a question for you, but I don't know if there's been any complaints about a lack of parking. These are things that Alderwoman Keene and I field quite a bit for
Sure.
street parking versus residential, because I know that's residential on the other side of it.
True. Yeah, I haven't heard of any issues with that, but you probably get all the calls, so yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council? If not, are there any questions from the audience on our first public hearing, item 4? All right, then we will close public hearing number 4, or public hearing number 1, item 4. And I will ask the clerk to read out our second public hearing, item number 5.
Conditional use permit for Mayans State Fair Park LLC, doing business as Mayans Market, a proposed gas station and neighborhood retail use at 8404 West Greenfield Avenue. And we did receive 2 email objections.
Thank you. Turn it over to staff, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mayor. The site is about half of an acre when it includes the former SF Analyzers Auto Repair Shop, the commercial building with a canopy at the corner, and then also a home which is unoccupied. It was formerly owned and has since been sold to the Meon Oil Company. And the new owner wants to do something similar with creating removing the existing building, the canopy, and the home, and then basically building a new gas station and convenience store at that corner. It would be on a slightly larger site, and also include the area where the home is now, which would be demolished. And then the operations would include a 24-hour, 7 days a week convenience store, as well as gas station and grocery sales from the site. The applicant is not proposing to sell any alcoholic beverages, so no license would be needed to that end. The property is Zone C2, and fuel stations do prompt the need for a conditional use permit, and that's the purpose of tonight's hearing. The prior owner had come before council previously as well and received conditional use approval. However, that use, when nothing is acted upon or implemented after a year, that prior conditional use lapses, so we have to come back, even though it's a similar type of use, and come back with a new plan. This is the site and landscaping plan that's been submitted by the new ownership, Meon Oil, and they are showing the upper area here, which would be the house and garage that are currently on this site, would be demolished. It's currently all one property. It was combined via certified survey map about 2 years ago by the previous owner. And then a new building would be constructed just south of that, where the house is now. And a new canopy would also be installed south of the new building. There would be some perimeter landscaping along the west and south and east sides of the property. Access to the site would be from 84th Street as well as Greenfield Avenue. There are some conditions that the Planning Commission, and as a result of staff and technical review, have come up and will be revised on this plan, but with respect to access into the site off of 84th Street, shifting the driveway further north has been recommended by our city engineering department, and then some additional landscaping also being added on this north lot. And then also connectivity between 84th Street and up to the to the pedestrian walkway that leads up to the front door of the building. There would be 5 pumps, as well as a new canopy, and then the exterior architecture of the building for what they're going to be calling it Meon's Market would feature some split-face block, decorative stone, and brick. The back side of the building, which is in the lower portion, that's the north side, Planning Commission had recommended that the building have 4-sided architecture. As a result, the revised plan that was approved by the Planning Commission shows carrying through some of those design elements from the other three sides of the building along that north side with a sill at the lower third of the building, as well as a stone accent wall and some additional roof line features on that north side of the building for a more four-sided and complete look around the building. Just the sides of the building on the east and west sides. This side here on the upper part would face 84th Street. Within the building, the primary area would be the customer area for groceries and merchandise. There would be an employee clerk cashier area here, and then also back of house area for employees, office areas and storage rooms, and then numerous, I guess, doors for coolers, cold drinks and products within cooler and freezer areas here, and also restroom area. So the Planning Commission has recommended approval subject to some conditions, one being that, the council public hearing, and just, I can sort of summarize a lot of this, but the pedestrian connection to 84th Street or Greenfield Avenue being added, a canopy elevation being provided, some additional landscaping along that north side of the property, and then some of the additional more standard types of comments with respect to stormwater management, and then excavation permits for proper driveway modifications and any work within the city right-of-way being obtained prior to starting of work. So, thank you. With that, this project has been noticed and published. Planning Commission has recommended conditional approval, and as noted, 2 objections to date, concerns of loitering, some crime, security, noise, and the general sentiment that we have enough gas stations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the members of the council?
Mayor Devine? Oh,
Alderperson
it's
Grisham?
his call.
Only because it's your district.
Right. Steve, thank you for the presentation. Some of the concerns that we have heard from residents, the 2 that had reached out, I just want to make more of a statement than anything. For years and years prior to this development, this area being vacant, it was a gas station, correct?
Gas and auto repair, yes.
Okay, so what other developments, and this is just for the purpose of the residents to understand, what other developments could potentially go in without understanding that there's contaminated soil, things like that? I personally feel it's a good fit for a gas station. Mian has been very thoughtful in working with development or planning to address the needs that, or the concerns that we have. And I just want to kind of put that on record for those that may have opposition to it. So, thank you again.
Thank you. Alderwoman Novak?
Mayor Devine, my question is, you had said that we wanted additional landscaping where the house is going to be demolished. How much of the building will take over that part, or is none of it taking over that part? Or will it just be open, empty space?
It'll be, right now, it's just shown as being open, so we'll remove the house and the garage and the driveway, and it'll be a grass area. So with that, there would be a fence that would run along, this retaining wall and fence here, and then just some other thoughts were that, perhaps adding some landscaping, some trees and so on within this area to sort of, again, just sort of break up the view of the backside of the building. Even though they are carrying that architecture around the backside, it is still a backside, and to buffer the neighborhood a bit
Okay,
from some of those concerns. Yep.
thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Halverson?
Technically not in my district, but it's, a block away. But, it's been empty for such a long time, and to have something come in, and I'm assuming this is a small business, not like a big Amco or, another Quick Trip.
Correct.
This is good. This is good for the area, and yeah, maybe we don't need another gas station as the world moves towards some more electric vehicles, but still, in the meantime, it's an empty lot. It's not doing anything. I would be proud to have something like this in the neighborhood. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other common council questions, comments? Seeing none, are there any audience members that wish to address the council on this public hearing item? If you do, we ask that you please come up to the podium and turn on the microphone, and please give us your name and address for our official record. Hit the button, the little person on it.
Oh,
There you go. Thank you.
my name is Gail Roberts. I own a property down the street from there, and given the island configuration splitting the north and westbound, north and southbound, westbound, eastbound streets there, are you only going, the way it looks here, you're only going to have access to that vehicular access to that gas station from southbound lanes and from westbound lanes, because the islands on the street prohibit anything. So what I'm getting at is anything going northbound on 84th Street has to currently go partway down the block, make a U-turn, and then turn around to get back into that gas station. How are you going to deal with that, or is that going to just stay like that where you have only southbound and westbound access?
I believe that's the plan, because it's a state highway, and they could also turn west on Greenfield and then turn into the parking lot from the Greenfield Avenue entrance if needed.
Right, I'm not saying that it couldn't be
Okay.
dealt with, but that right now, there's a ton of traffic that comes down the street and making U-turns, including the residents in that area between the end of the U-turn, between the end of the island and the Greenfield Avenue. And it's a pretty hazardous area. They're trying to make a U-turn.
I have nothing more to add. I mean, I hear you.
Okay.
I don't know if staff does.
Yeah, I mean, with that, I mean, if you really want to go to this location, I guess you're going to go down the block and you're going to make a left turn, or you make a left turn at the intersection to enter off of Greenfield Avenue. Encouraging left turns in and out of the station, I think, is equally as dangerous. So,
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make. If you're coming out of the gas station, you want to go eastbound on Greenfield Avenue, you're very limited based on where that island is. You only have a real narrow area to do that. Same thing with going northbound on 84th Street. When you want to turn around and go back to that gas station or go to my home right there, I happen to drive a very large truck and I can't make one loop. I have to stop on the street there and back up and then continue the turn. Is there any chance of reducing that length of that island so that shouldn't be a problem?
I can evaluate.
Just a
that, yeah.
consideration.
We can look at that with our city engineer, but being a state highway with, Greenfield Avenue, and that in Greenfield Avenue likely being reconstructed in the next, 5 or 6 years, that'll certainly be discussed more at length.
Okay.
Thank you. Does anybody else have comments or questions on our second public hearing this evening?
Hello, my name is Andrew Miller. I live at 1327 South 84th Street. My question is the hours of operation. I know this came up with the previous gas station. I'm not excited about being open 24 hours, the store part. Most of those gas pumps are self-serve. You pull up to them, that's fine. I really don't see what extra traffic and foot traffic we need coming down the street at 3 o'clock in the morning. Was anything decided from the previous meeting, those hours of operation? Was that ever addressed, or?
I believe, I would have to look back offhand. I don't know if it was limited to a certain hour. I could certainly look at that prior to the decision this evening. We also have, I think, representatives here. They could probably speak to their hours of operation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what somebody would need at, 3 o'clock in the morning on Greenfield Avenue and 84th Street. It just doesn't seem like a good idea.
Thank you. Any other questions on our public hearing?
Mayor Devine?
Yeah.
May I just answer part of that question
Sure.
for Mr. Miller? I know with the previous build or development, we addressed the hours, and that was primarily due to the fact that they were asking for a liquor license as well. And with this operation being it's more market and gas, if I speak for Alderwoman Keene and I, we visited that as far as the safety in the area and whatnot. So we were mindful in asking those questions. And we personally feel comfortable that we voiced your concerns and feel that this operation will be well managed.
Sir, sorry, we're going to need you on the microphone if you want to speak, just so we can pick you up on our broadcast. Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Marie Ulrich from 1355 South 84th Street. I am going to be right next to this development. Last time, for the previous proposals, were a fence put along the back of the property. But they only said that they were going to do landscaping and greenery back there. I'm just wondering what's going to keep people, that want to go to that grassy area to stay out of my yard. I don't really want to have to deal with, the business of them out next door to me. So I'd like them to be kind of whatever they can do to separate from their property to my property would be nice to know.
Do you have details on that?
Sure. There will be a fence here along the north property line from the building itself here across. And then I believe it's also being carried down a bit here along the west side of the site near this landscaping bed. So anyone that's, I guess, entering or leaving the site, they're not going to be able to, they'd have to scale a retaining wall and hop a fence to get, I guess, into this yard area here or into anyone else's yard.
Okay.
Yep.
That was just my concern.
Mm-hmm.
I do like my privacy.
Sure.
Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Any other questions or comments on our second public hearing? Okay, seeing none, we will close item 5, public hearing number 2. And we will move on to item number 6, which is our third public hearing. And I will ask the clerk to read out that item.
To amend fiscal year 2017 and fiscal year 2019 through fiscal year 2023 annual action plans of the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Thank you. Mr.
Thanks.
Chair.
Thanks, Mayor. So every year, the city receives, we're an entitlement community with the federal government. We receive community development block grant funds. And roughly about $1.4 million, and that includes some program income from successful economic development loans and housing rehab loans. But we're expected of that allocation, it's broken out into different categories shown below between administration, public services like nonprofits that apply for funding, economic development projects, commercial facade projects, housing rehab projects, public facility projects, updating parks and so on, and different things like that. But as part of that, the federal government, in their allocation of federal funds to the city, expects us to, we come up with an annual plan of how we're going to spend that money. People apply for certain funding amounts, and then we're expected to manage that and have those groups spend that money that's been entitled to us from the federal government. The whole purpose of the Community Development Block Grant Program is to eliminate slum and blight within the city of West Allis, as well as help people of low to moderate incomes throughout the city and in those areas of the city, and just bolster our parks and make West Allis a fantastic place it is to live. So with that, though, we have, sometimes not everybody spends their money, and there's some extra money left over, given delays in projects not getting implemented, things just falling behind, not spending all their money, and there's money left over. Things sometimes do come under budget, and there's money left over. So all of that is, in this case, as the purpose of this hearing is to take some of that money that's been sort of unspent, unprogrammed, from basically the past 6 years, from 2017 through 2023, and reallocating that total amount of over $900,000 of that unspent money and applying it to a project that we want to further in the city. And that project in this case is the Liberty Heights Park project, where we want to tear down the existing pavilion that was built back in the 1930s and rebuild a new building, state-of-the-art building that's going to help with the programming of that park, the reduced or free lunch program that's administered by the rec department. It's a heavily programmed park, and parks are a big attraction in our city, something that all residents, as part of our comprehensive plan outreach, have indicated that we have real beautiful parks, and let's invest in them and let's make them better. This is a project that, by reallocating this unspent prior year CDBG funding, could be put into this Liberty Heights Park to really upgrade and make a state-of-the-art park pavilion for Liberty Heights. And the park is located at 61st and Orchard. The existing facility here that was built in the 1930s would be completely removed, replaced with a new park pavilion and shelter. And it would be used for various programming activities from the rec, city program events, different community events. Neighborhood groups and associations would also use the park now and would benefit from the new facility. There really wouldn't be any other site changes to the park other than some new pavement around the new pavilion. The new pavilion would occupy roughly the same general footprint as the existing pavilion. And then this is just a floor plan view. Just for reference, the playground area is right here. And then what I'm going to show you in the floor plan here, this is the main building of the new pavilion, and then there'd be an overhead open-air shelter, or the roof overhead, and then the playground area that was shown in that aerial view is right out over here to the west. So this building is orientated east to west, and this being the north, and this being the south. The building would consist of a multi-purpose room area here with storage areas for neighborhood associations, DPW, and so on. Another storage area accessed internally, an office area, a serving room for not a full kitchen, but a prep area for getting things ready for events within the park or neighborhood groups. It would offer a serving window here that would be accessible from underneath the shelter area. And then on the west side of the building would be 4 restrooms. 3 would be accessible from outside of the building. 1 would be dedicated access from inside the building. So if there's a rec event or a neighborhood event going on within the thing, they have direct access from within the building. And then also a mechanical area here. All of the door locks would be controlled via electronic opening system. A opening closing could be set to a timer for security purposes. And then just the exterior look of the building is planned here. Stone veneer base, some engineered, cementitious siding, gabled and hip roof. And then the tentative schedule looking ahead would be for the final plan to be submitted to the city in June, followed by advertising and bidding, and then a bid opening in July, and then Common Council would have to award that bid. And then in August, if all goes well, anticipating construction to begin after the pool closes, and then again spending that money towards the new pavilion. And it's expected to be a bit over $1 million to build this. We're working with a consultant right now who has designed these within the cities of Germantown and other places like that, and the costs have increased. So that's one of the reasons why we're consolidating this money and placing it towards this project within Liberty Heights Park. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the alderpersons?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Halverson.
So you're saying moving these funds would cover basically the whole project cost?
That's the intent. I mean, it could be a little bit more, but there is some money in the Liberty Heights account right now to the tune of about $100,000, and this additional money would help us get us to the finish line and get this thing implemented. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel?
Steve, assuming that schedule, so demo in the fall, construction over the winter, so there really wouldn't be a service interruption for the programming that happens there now for the neighborhood?
Yeah, that's the plan, to,
Okay.
you know, start after the pool closes and move forward. Yeah, hope all goes well, weather and everything else.
So it could conceivably open in spring of '25?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council? Seeing none, are there any questions, comments from the members of the audience on our third? Microphone just reset. Sorry about that. We will close our third and final public hearing, which does conclude Section E of our agendas, and we will move on to item F, which is public participation. This is where the council can receive information from members of the public. All right. As I said before, council may receive information from members of the public during this 30-minute period. We once again ask each speaker to announce their name and address for our record, sign in at the podium. Thank you, and please limit their comments to one statement of no longer than 5 minutes. You can begin when you're ready.
Good evening. My name's Angelito Tenorio. I live at 3256 South 106th Street, West Dallas. Mayor Devine, members of the Common Council, and members of the public. I'm running for Wisconsin State Assembly, District 14. And my story begins with my parents. I'm the proud son of Filipino immigrants who came to the U.S., who came to Wisconsin in hopes of finding a better life. And they did. They raised me in a union household here in West Dallas and instilled in me the values of giving back and serving others. And that's what drives me with everything I do personally and professionally. I studied political science at UW-Madison. I'm a proud Badger, and it was there I saw the power of organizing, people coming together to make change for the better, and the importance of electing leaders who represent our values, who will make change for our communities. I served in the Wisconsin Army National Guard, and there I learned the importance of discipline, attention to detail, and service to the community, service to our state. I worked for an environmental nonprofit, and I also served on the city council here in West Dallas because I deeply care about our community. I loved working with neighbors, constituents, friends and family members to make our community the best it can be for everyone. I now work in education. I teach at a nature school where I teach kids about the environment, the importance of conservation, and outdoor recreation. And now I'm running for state assembly because I deeply love this community. I've lived in West Dallas my whole life, and I believe in making our community the best it can be, where all people can thrive from all backgrounds and all identities. I believe better is possible, and I really do believe in the importance of reimagining what's possible and working together to make change. I'll prioritize supporting small businesses. Small businesses are what make West Dallas vibrant and more lively, and allows our city to grow. I believe in investing in our schools, in our kids, in our teachers. I believe in giving our kids the best opportunities possible, setting them up to succeed. And I also believe in protecting our environment, protecting our parks, our green spaces, our outdoor recreational spaces as well. I believe in expanding access to healthcare. That's been one of the top issues folks have brought up to me as I've been knocking doors across West Dallas. Making things more affordable and accessible in our community. I also believe in investing in our infrastructure. The state can do more in supporting cities like West Dallas, fixing our roads, making things better, updating outdated infrastructure. I really care about this community, so I don't take this lightly. This is an opportunity to make things better for each and every one of us. And I'm currently collecting signatures to get my name on the ballot, so I'll stick around if anyone's interested in signing my papers to help me get on the ballot. But I appreciate the time and opportunity to speak before you all. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Matheson, 1138 South 75th Street, West Dallas. For 12 months of the year, City Hall flies the U.S. flag, the state flag, the county flag, the city of West Allis flag, and the POW flag. For the month of June, it has been and probably will be adding the so-called progressive flag once again. I'm convinced that no special interest group or cause should be favored above another. It is divisive and unnecessary. All legal special interest groups and all individuals in West Allis have the same protected rights, and none needs special government promotion, recognition, or endorsement at the expense of others. I know that you cannot take action on this statement at this time. I do hope to write our alder people so that in the future, the only flags that would fly are the ones that fly all 12 months of the year. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for your comments. Does anybody else wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
Amy Rose Murphy, 1520 South 76th Street. I actually have a comment and then what I came up for. First, I want to thank our EMS because it's EMS week. So we have a great emergency medical services department here in West Allis. It's also Public Works Appreciation Week, and we have a great Public Works department. My concerns are regarding insurance with this Lime scooter situation. I rode some scooters in Chicago. I think they're pretty cool. Even at 10, 15 miles an hour, they're pretty fast and they're fun, and you can get from place to place, especially if you're a tourist. I think it's a great idea. But there were a couple things that enlightened me, and I caught him out here because I wanted to know, and he didn't have answers. It concerns me when he is representing a company and he doesn't have answers on insurance. My friend's brother in the city of Milwaukee had his car hit, significant damage to his vehicle by one of these Lime scooters. The person left, they figured out who it was, but in the end, they didn't take any accountability. It was all on him. It was a parked vehicle. It was his $1,500 deductible. It may have been $1,000. It was $1,000 or $1,500. And he was left holding the bag. Unlike driving a vehicle, people have accountability. You lose your license, you lose points, and all the different things. So there's always unintentional consequences. So a big unintentional consequence to what I think is a great program is insurance. That's aspect one. Aspect two is I talked with our insurance broker, Nate, today, and I asked him, I said, are there issues regarding, I forget what they call it, but there's points that they assert to your premium. So if you live in a school zone, you get a marked point, which kind of ups your, in the grand scheme, 1 point is 50 cents or something. But you start adding all these points, and they're weighted also. If you live on a street where they have a speed reduction sign, that's like 3 points. Where these charging stations are, or where they're supposed to be parked, there's a point allocated to that because there is insurance claims. And he said it's new because it's a new and growing trend, and insurance companies are figuring out, or trying to profit, however you want to look at it, figuring out how to, where its place is. Because look at what happened to my friend's car, brother's car. And we live, I would imagine that, Greenfield area would be a great place to have one of those. I would love it, go from one end down to the other. But living where we do, that would mark my insurance. It would give me a point or 2 points or however they decide to figure this out. And I understand there'll probably be a public hearing on this, but these are the unintentional consequences that we need to think about. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address the council under public participation? Okay, we will close public participation. We will move on to item G. Our standing committees will be meeting during recess. The room numbers for these meetings are on the top of page 2 of your agendas. If you are here for an item like a license or a hearing of some type, please check the room numbers. And if you have any questions on where you should be when we break for recess, please stop one of us and ask us, and we'll make sure we get you in the right room. Moving to item H, the mayor's report. Just a few things I want to touch on this evening. There was there were quite a few events in the community the last few days, and I want to just do a quick round of thanks for all of them. There was the citywide cleanup on Saturday morning, and I know a lot of people in this room were present, and I want to thank the Police Department's Community Services Bureau for all of their work and all of their assistance in putting that on, as well as all the volunteers that showed up. I know there was a group from NNS Towing, and there was a group from Festival Foods, and Equitable Bank, and I think there was one other which I hesitated to even start because I knew I'd forget somebody. But I want to thank everybody that took part in that. Later that, or during that same day, was the Department of Public Works open house, and I want to thank Dave Wepking, the director, and his staff, and everybody who helped partner with that. There were a lot of outside groups too that helped make that a successful event. And then on Sunday, there was a bike rodeo at the farmers market by the Liberty Heights Friends of Liberty Heights, and everybody who volunteered there, as well as the members of that Liberty Heights Association. I want to thank them. And lastly, in the spirit of congratulations and thanks, I want to congratulate all the members and partners from the West Allis Police Department and the award ceremony that they held last night. I know Alderman Turner was in attendance. I was unfortunately not able to make it, but I just wanted to congratulate all of the winners and thank all the partners for our police department. That concludes the mayor's report. Are there any reports from the alderpersons?
Mayor Devine?
Alderwoman Keene.
With Memorial Day coming up, I'm sure my colleagues would agree that we just want to give thanks to those that have served, remember those that didn't make it home and gave the ultimate sacrifice so we can maintain our freedom, which is why we are here talking about opening businesses and scooters and everything else. So again, I just want to give thanks to all those that have served and all those that unfortunately couldn't make it here to come back home.
And that reminds me, we have our ceremony Monday morning, but I'll let somebody else talk on that because I already spoke.
Come on, Marty.
Marty, tell me what I forgot.
I won't be here Monday.
Oh, all right. There is with the Tanner Paul Post, there is a Memorial Day ceremony. It's an annual event at Veterans Park at 69th and National. I'm pretty sure it starts at 10 o'clock. Yeah, so community is all, it's 11? It's on our city's website and Facebook. Okay, Alderman Rhodes telling me 11. If you want to get there early, it's 10. But it's a really nice event, and it goes on every year, and it's always a nice crowd. So if you are free, please join us. Any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine?
Alderperson Nowling.
I just want to acknowledge Alderman Halverson and I just finished the Citizens Police Academy that was offered through West Allis Police Department, and just want to say thank you. That was an incredible opportunity, and I would strongly encourage anybody who has the opportunity to sign up next year to do so. It was a really great 10-week class.
Thank you. Any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine?
Alderwoman Grobe.
I know you mentioned the bike rodeo, but I wanted to just specially thank the, some of the small businesses who participated in that. I mean, obviously, the association did a lot of work, but they got a lot of donations from Kegels and from West Allis Heating, and of course for the health department, members of the community and staff who helped with that. I just really love that our small businesses came out to support that as well, and it was a really great turnout. Just really appreciate our small businesses.
Thank you. Certain florist was involved, correct? Any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine, I move to approve the Common Council minutes from the May 7th meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Were there any changes or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. We have no standing committee reports.
Mayor Devine, unless any common council member has an objection, I move to approve the consent agenda as written, but I do understand that item 8 is being requested to be back to committee, or
Just called out, I would like to just have a,
call out separately?
yeah,
Okay.
conversation, discussion.
Okay. All right, so if there's no other discussion,
Motion to approve?
Of the balance,
consent-
or?
The balance of
the
the
exception
consent
of item
agenda with the exception of item 8.
Okay.
Second.
Is that right? Rebecca?
I think he moved it.
I moved it. I made
You can
Second.
second it, yeah. Thank you. And a third for good measure. Any discussion? If not, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Halverson.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Novak.
Aye.
Nowling.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Grobe.
Aye.
9 in favor.
Motion carries. And then we have item 8 in front of us.
I move approval of item number 8.
Okay, somebody want to second it before the discussion?
Second.
Okay, go ahead.
Item 8 is an ordinance to remove parking restrictions on the 1400 block South 91st Street. So that is 91st and Orchard up until a dead end that butts up against what is a nursing home at that, right there. The signs were originally placed years and years ago based on the parking lot of the nursing home not having sufficient parking and employees parking on the street. There was a preschool, and parents and others were parking on the street, which was causing a lot of congestion on that dead end, making it hard to turn around, considering there's only one, maybe 2 houses that actually have driveways. So it was requested by one citizen who lives on the corner that has no alley access, a parking spot for 1 car, to remove those signs, because right now they are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 2-hour parking. So when his son and wife want to park during the day, they have to continually move their car every 2 hours. I actually went door to door and spoke with every neighbor besides 3 that weren't home, asking their input on the signage, and most did not care either way if the signs stayed or remained, because all of them have driveways and or an alley where they could park. There was one objection. That objection, he did obtain signatures that you would see on the agenda. However, those signatures, after I validated, 4 out of the 7 don't even live on the block. So really don't have any say. My point for bringing this up is, again, that it's always about compromise. One person wanted it, one person didn't. So the compromise, and I would look to amend, is to remove the parking restrictions on the east side of the street. So there is one place that someone could park on the east side, Monday through Friday, without 2-hour parking. It doesn't apply at night, obviously, it's only till 4 p.m. And that the signs remain on the west side due to the fact that you do still have the nursing home there, that could potentially result in employees parking up the street. I do think streets are to be used by everyone. If you own a house, you don't own the street. But this was a compromise that the neighbors had agreed upon, and this is where I think that we let the neighbors' voices be heard, and that this was the fairest compromise that left all residents happy.
So that was a motion.
Yep.
Does anyone want to second that?
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, it is amended, and now, I know I always trip up on this, is this in front of us as amended now? Okay. So then do you want to,
Motion to approve as amended?
okay,
Second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I suppose I should have done a roll call on that, but sounds unanimous, so motion carries. Thank you. And then did you want to, Alderwoman Keene?
Mayor Devine, I would like to move a motion to refer items 36 and 37 to the Public Safety Committee.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is moved. And Alderman Weigel.
Mayor Devine, I move that the Common Council go into recess until the conclusion of the recess meeting agendas.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are in recess.